In this exercise, we're going to talk a little bit more about styles. We've been touching on styles as we've been going through the drawings. There are certain things that we just had to go in there and mess with the style to be able to edit it. To get to the styles, we come up to the Manage tab up here at the top, and then we go to the Styles Editor. Now you can right-click on objects and go to Styles, but some of those will take you to the actual style, and some of them will take you to the style of the object. So whenever you're trying to do a global style edit, I always try to make sure I come up to the Style Editor. And you notice we have a bunch of options in here. First thing to take note of is you have a default standard style. So if you wanted to create a new one, right here would be a good way to create an overall style. So we could say default standard company name. Okay. Then you double click it to activate it. Inside of your drawing standard, we have a bunch of options. And this is what makes up our styles. You come in here to your styles and you can see things like dimension options. If I expand this out here, you can see everything. So here's the standard dimension option where we can come in and adjust the units. You can do an alternate unit. Here's where if you wanted to do, metric and imperial, you can decide how you want your arrows and leaders and everything to show up. You can show where the text is going to show, tolerances, options for all of your arrows, how you want them to show up on your drawing, even things like ordinate dimensions. Then you get into all of your leaders. You have your whole notes. You have your chamfer notes. You have your bin notes, and you have your punch notes. I don't really like this dialog right here because this is confusing. This is almost like you have to choose one. And really, each one of these is a toggle for all the settings based on that. So this is all the settings for holes. This is all the settings for chamfers. It's all the settings for sheet metal bins. This is all the settings for your sheet metal punches. It's not one or the other here. This is what I'm editing at the moment. So this is really a subcategory of dimensions. We can come in here and we can adjust different things. You notice a lot of stuff has a style inside of a style. So for example, there's a leader style underneath the whole style. So you come over here to the leaders and you can look and see what's in that leader styles. As soon as you move out, it's going to ask you to save. Basically, the leader options are only about the arrows and the line because that's really all it is. Everything else is the text. So it uses the text for that. You come down to the text styles. And you have a note text and a label text. You have your tables. You have your symbols, whole table options, datums, center marks, balloons. Center marks are the one that I get a lot of complaints about. Sometimes, this is either too big or too small. So what'll happen is in my office, we have two separate ones. We have a small center mark and a large center mark. So if you're dealing with a really tiny hole, you don't want some giant center mark. So you can actually make it a little bit smaller. At the same time, if you have a really large hole, you may need to have it stick out a little bit past the hole a little bit more. So you can come down through here and you can tweak and adjust each and every one of these. Once you get everything set the way you want, you save, and now you have it. You also can import styles. We can have active standards. We could actually map this to a network drive so everybody's using the same style. It's very easy to do. We have things for hatches for sections. This is where we would control the layers. And then once we get everything the way we want it, we come into our object defaults. And what this is basically every single drawing type option has a style. So what you can do is come down through here and edit one of them so that it'll use your new style. So for example, if you create a new dimension style, if you don't come in here and apply it to the object style, so for example, a bin note, it's still going to use the default millimeter bin note. If you change the center mark, it's always going to use the default center mark. Same for baseline dimensions and everything else. So you need to come in here and adjust these. If you go and you adjust something like change out the default millimeter dimension, what I always do is I sort it by object style. Because more than likely, if you're going to change this for one of these type of dimensions, you're going to change it for all of them. So I'll highlight all of them and go through and be able to change out all of these by getting them all there together. You see, here's all my center marks. Here's all my millimeter dimensions. So basically, once you sort it by style, it's very easy to see what all the different styles are and to go through and tweak them just a little bit. You get done, you hit save, and now Inventor will remember this. Now the trick is, this is only in this drawing. So if I create a new dimension style, for example, based on the ANSI style, call it Andy, and I come into my object defaults, and I change it to Andy. And don't worry if you do mess up like that. You can come in here and rename it. And it will change over here as well. So I can go down through here and change all these to my default Andy. Hit save. Done. However, if I come over here to this other drawing and I go to the style editor, you'll notice that the default Andy doesn't exist. It's because this is by drawing. So you need to save this out to your template. This is something you need to do early on. Decide what your styles need to be, save it to your template. You can actually export these out if you need to. You come out here and export your different styles and import them back in. But it is important that you save it to your template because that's all you're going to have. It's not going to automatically change in all your drawings. This is by drawing. Same way, if somebody emails you something, you will get their style if you get their drawing. You have similar options inside of the part environment as well. I come in here and look at my part. I have styles in here. The difference is with parts, it's only with your lighting. If I come in and open up assemblies, see, I get the lighting as well. So styles are everywhere. You can see that they're pretty easy to update. You just have to remember to go in and change your object defaults once you get them updated, or they won't remember. But take a look at this. If you need to change something, this is where you would change your styles. Play with it some and see what you can do with the styles.